Just when you thought Canada couldn't get any worse, the Air Canada strike is here right in the middle of summer holiday travel.
New this morning, Air Canada has suspended operations after 10,000 of its flight attendants went on strike overnight. Now, that will have major implications on passengers around the world.
I'm Cameron. This is the Cameron Explorers channel. I cover news relating to Canada, Japan, internet culture. If that kind of stuff interests you, please hit the subscribe button. So Canada is in a bit of a dumpster fire right now. The Air Canada, the national airline of Canada, has been in kind of a negotiation period for 8 months with their flight attendants and the union representing the flight attendants. Over the past 8 months, they've been trying to negotiate a better salary and getting paid for their extra work. So I used to be a flight attendant for a small airline in Canada, so I understand what's going on here and why the flight attendants are upset. So in Canada, if you're a flight attendant, you only get paid when you're in the air. So if you're on the ground and you're cleaning the plane, boarding the passengers, or there's a delay, or you're prepping, or you're cleaning, or you're finishing off the day, there's tons of time where you're not paid. Your actual salary begins when you're in the air. So this is kind of a bit of a weird situation for the Canadian flight attendants because actually I feel like they're not really aware. When I was hired, I wasn't really aware of how much extra work I would be doing that's unpaid. If I'm working an 8-hour day, usually I'm only getting paid for about 5 hours of that. Maybe I'm flying for 3 hours or 2.5 hours, and then I fly back for that, and then I'm cleaning the plane, prepping, getting ready, and traveling. And so this is what the flight attendants and the union are trying to change. They want flight attendants to have a consistent salary throughout the day, throughout their shift, rather than a salary depending on delays or whatever else might come up. But Air Canada refuses to comply to this. Air Canada offered a 25% increase in the salary in the first year, leading up to a 38% over 4 years, which does sound nice. But I think at its core issue, the flight attendants want just a steady salary, not one that kind of bounces all around. Sometimes you're even making less than minimum wage if there's a delay. If you factor in your whole day and there's a heavy delay, the flight attendant's making less than minimum wage. But somehow that's okay right now. So Air Canada has canceled all flights because of the strike going on right now with the Air Canada company and the flight attendants organization. So with all flights being stopped right now, it's kind of a crazy situation. I have a friend here with an interview. His brother was supposed to fly from Tokyo to Toronto, and well, let's hear what happened.
Unfortunately, there were some audio issues during the call, but essentially what happened was my friend is living in Toronto and his brother was supposed to fly from Tokyo to Toronto to come visit him, and Air Canada canceled the flight within 48 hours notice, said they would try to find him another flight, but they couldn't. It seems like Air Canada wasn't really trying to help him at all. There's definitely connecting flights like Tokyo to LA and then LA to Toronto, or Tokyo to Seoul and then Seoul to Toronto. But Air Canada didn't even seem to consider these flights. They just left my friend's brother and many other people stranded.
Welcome back to CTV News Channel. I'm Akshay Tandon. We begin with the aftermath of Federal Jobs Minister Patty Hajdu ordering Air Canada flight attendants back to work after thousands walked off the job earlier today.
Some breaking news happened while I was recording this video is that the job minister is ordering the flight attendants to go back to work, and the flight attendants are refusing. So that's the ongoing situation right now. As people are stranded, flights are canceled, flight attendants are underpaid. They can't survive on between $2,000 to $2,500 a month, especially living near an airport. I think the Ministry of Labor and all the other government employees trying to force flight attendants to go back to work should try to survive 1 month on a flight attendant salary. I don't think they'll be able to do it. I really think it would be a great situation to see the jobs minister have 1 month of a flight attendant salary and try to work as a flight attendant for 1 month and see the amount of unpaid work that goes on and how usually they have to live near the airports. So they need to be in the cities. They need to be in Toronto, in Vancouver, the most expensive cities in Canada. They need to be near the airport in case they get called into work. And they can't even afford a simple studio apartment near the airport. Honestly, this whole Canadian situation just goes to show how bad it is in Canada. First, there was a strike last year from Canada Post because of the postal employees were underpaid. Now it's the flight attendants' turn.
So as you can see, this flight stoppage was kind of sudden and kind of gives a bad impression of Canada, right? This national airline's just treating the customers poorly, treating the flight attendants poorly, and leaving people stranded. So what do you think about this whole situation? Leave a comment below and make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.